this human mind started from the day that we were born, the day we came out. This world has always existed, the universe has always existed, but my own human mind and all my thoughts started the day I came out into the world as this body. So I immediately took a picture, in a sense. I immediately had the idea that this body is who I am. So I have a self, and my consciousness, if you will, is the exact shape and size of this form. Now, this body is like our vehicle. Where did we get this vehicle from? We got it from our parents and generations prior. So we physically resemble our parents. We inherited their physical traits, their physiology. We also inherited certain traits of mind, certain dispositions, predispositions, and tendencies. So that's what we refer to as the habits, and that became the foundation of our mind, or the roots of our mind. If you see two babies together who are each a week old, they haven't lived through anything yet, but they'll have different personalities, dispositions, based on whatever kinds of dispositions they inherited. So that's the habits. Now, as we grow up and as we live our life, this human body functions exactly like a camera, recording and imprinting all that we see, all that we hear, all that we smell and say and feel with the body gets recorded as pictures. So this becomes the movie of our life lived, our life story. And inside this movie, we have all countless kinds of experiences. Our school life, our hometown, our family life, relationships, work, etc., all stored in here. And it's like a movie in that we are the lead actor of this movie. And as we look back, we can see only I have this movie. So it's like I'm the director, I'm the producer, and I'm in fact the only audience member of this movie. And yet, because I live as that character, I live bound to the script of that movie and all the habits and patterns and feelings that have been before. So this is what's called the karma. Because I live as a picture, as an actor within this picture world, that is why we don't know our true self. That is why we don't know the true world, because where we're living is inside of our world of pictures. So this picture world is where all of our countless thoughts come from. So all the experiences that we've had have been taken in and we've never once cleared them out. So it leads to all kind of stress, pain, burden that only we can see, that only we feel in these pictures. There's all kinds of curiosity, questions, and doubts because all we know are our pictures. This human mind is a fundamentally negative mind, and it's self-centered in the sense that we only know ourselves. We only know our own pictures. And ultimately, all of this mind world disappears when one dies. So with all the stress, pain, questions, and burdens, it's all inside of this brain. So when the physical body dies, that whole mind world disappears. Now, how can we shed this human mind? How can we actually resolve the pain, burden, stress, and all the countless questions that we have in our mind? We do that by first throwing away the pictures that we've taken. So I shared last week the picture of my second grade experience with the reading group. When we throw away the pictures, the countless thoughts contained within those pictures will also disappear. And most importantly, we can understand that these pictures themselves are not real. So that's why we throw them away. That's why we can throw them away, because they don't exist in the world. And so to explain this a bit further, I wanted to share an example. Let's pretend this is a stack of money. We're rich. We have this huge stack of money. This money, of course, can buy many things, right? So this money in the world can be utilized. It has, a function. It has a value that we can exchange for goods and services. Now, if we take a picture of that money, say this camera is here, we snap a picture of that money, what gets stored in the picture is this image, an image of the money. And now, even if we were to print out this picture, would this picture printout of the money have any value? Could we take that to the store and buy something with this picture of the money? No, right? Very good. This picture is not real. It's not real money. So it doesn't have the function, it doesn't have the value and the utility that real money has. So is it okay to say that it is false? It's not real money, so we say that it is false. Okay. So far, so good, right? Now, we talked about how the human body is like a camera. So let's say there's an apple sitting on the counter. We see the apple and click, we take a picture of that apple into our mind. So maybe later that day, we're thinking about that apple. That apple will probably taste really good. So what we have in our mind, is it the actual physical apple, or is it just a picture of the apple that we took at that moment? We took a picture, right? And it's just the image of the apple. So what we have stored in our mind is the image of the apple. So when we bring it up in our mind, it's not the actual physical thing, it's just the image of it. So just like that picture of the money, is this apple in our mind real? Is it alive? Can we get nourishment from it? No, right? Just a picture. So there's no value, there's no utility to the picture of the apple. What has value and utility is the actual real apple. But the picture in our mind of it, no value. Therefore, again, it's not a real apple, it is false. It's just the image. So this human body acting as a camera, we're doing this 24/7, 365 days a year. So every conversation we have, every experience we have, our body is on recording what we experience and what we think and what we feel in each and every one of those moments. We also take in what we see, what we hear, and all of the sensations of that moment. So as our life is unfolding, every moment of every day, click, 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 these pictures are getting added to our mind. They're stored in the brain so that we can recall them later, like at the end of the day, you might be trying to sleep, and then the events of the day come rushing into our mind, replaying themselves over and over again. Even later today, you'll be able to remember this present moment. It'll come up as a picture if you recall it. Now, let's think. These pictures that we have, and we can use an example. Think of this morning having breakfast. So you can think about what you ate for breakfast, where you were, if there was anyone else around. Does that scene come up in your mind if you try to recall it? Yeah. So can anyone see anyone else's pictures? No. And do those pictures exist in the world now? No, right? So just like the apple and just like the picture of the money, the pictures of the scenes of our life similarly are just a picture. They're not real. It's not the real people, it's just the image of them. There's no inherent value to the picture because it's just an image in my head. There's no utility or function to that picture. And ultimately, because it is not the real people, real places, real things, we can say that the picture is false. Now, the only thing that differentiates a picture of a conversation that we had earlier and the picture of, say, an apple is that most likely, if there's an event in our life, we have some kind of emotional attachment to it. It's the feelings that image or that picture evokes that makes it feel different than, say, an apple or something ordinary and neutral. We can do a little example of this right now. Imagine there's a lemon in front of you. You can cut open the lemon, take a nice big slice, and now imagine just taking that lemon, taking a wedge of lemon, holding it up to your nose. You can smell the lemon. And imagine just sinking your teeth into it, taking a nice big bite. Most people will find that actually, if you really do that, your mouth will start to salivate, because actually we don't know, the body doesn't know the difference between the reality and a picture. If we believe it to be real, the body will think that it's real. So in time, as we meditate, we can actually enlighten that the pictures are not real, and therefore the emotions and the thoughts that are triggered, even the sensations and emotions that are triggered by that picture, will no longer happen. So I have to swallow now from envisioning that lemon. So that is why we have this method. It's a very grateful thing that we no longer need to live with these pictures cluttering and burdening our mind. We can actually let them go now. So it's a two-step process. First, self-reflecting, asking ourselves, what kind of thoughts do we have? And as we look back at the scenes of our life, what kind of thoughts, what kind of emotional grip, what kind of mind weight does that picture kind of carry? What does that represent for me? We can come to understand so many things about ourselves and how we've been through that first step of self-reflection. Then, what's even better is that we don't have to sit with that. We don't have to keep living with it. We can actually let it go. We can let it go to the universe. And when we let it go, we can watch that picture disappear, confirm, even if just for a moment that picture disappeared, and the mind can enlighten that, I am not that thought, or I am not that emotion. I'm no longer defined by that experience, no longer weighed down or limited by that experience.